Okay, so let me get this right. You're saying that your intention is to help someone get closer to Allah, trust in Allah, be happier, safeguard their akhirah, and be closer to Allah, but you don't want to put your book out because they're haters. But I'm asking you generally, what should we do about fear? Okay, let me ask you in a different way, yeah? Imagine that you wake up today and this morning, then you wake up and you're like, I cannot be bothered to go to work today. Okay? So you just don't feel like going work, but you know you should, and you're not ill, and you're not going to fake it today, last week, right? Like you know you should go in, but you don't feel like it. What are you going to do? Why didn't you let that emotion stop you? So you're saying that you could feel an emotion and not give in to it completely. You're saying that you could feel an emotion and you would actually go by your principles and who you are rather than being a slave to that emotion. Interesting. Okay. That's a good idea to take to this fear proposal. Okay. So, like, if I now have a fear and we use that same thing on this, what would we do then? And it's like Susan Jeffers says in her book title, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. Fundamentally, that's what it comes down to. And it's really cool. Someone I heard talking about this book, they said, I read the title of the book and I never had to read the book again because I got the message, right? And literally, that's exactly what we need to do, is that we need to feel the fear and we need to do it anyway. Because what happens with fear is that it basically paralyzes you. What we need to know is that most fear is not actually real, right? It's actually just a playing in our heads of a negative option that might happen and this and this and this. Like, this is quite sad, but it's true. There are not people who actually will even give you the time of day to read your whole book and then come and make your life a misery. They don't even have that. They don't have enough energy and enthusiasm to make your life a hell because they didn't like your book. So really, like, what I'm saying is that this fear that you're going through is very, very natural. Everyone goes through this fear when they're putting themselves out. Most people will let the fear control them. They'll become a slave to them and they will do what the fear dictates. But they only do that for fear and certain emotions. Because like I just described to you, most people would actually go up and get to work even though they don't feel like it, right? And even though sometimes they might feel like going mad at someone, they control themselves. Even though they may feel like doing this or this or this or this, they do something different because they know I should do this, or I am the type of person that should do this, or I should not do that. So I'm saying that you cannot be someone who is a slave to the fear. Instead, you need to focus on what do I actually want to achieve? Who are the people I'm actually doing this for? And what will be the benefit in their life, like we just discussed. And if you believe that that's the benefit you're intending to bring to them, guess what? You're going to get the reward for that. And so the results of whether they like your book it's not in your hands. When they say about the 40 hadith of Imam Nawawi, there were the scholars, they say there were so many different 40 hadith, like so many different ones, right? And of all of them, like the one that's most popular is Imam Nawawi's. Okay. Do you think that happened because of Imam Nawawi? Yeah, maybe it was intention, but basically Allah chose that out of all of them, this one is going to be the one that has like massive barakah and everyone knows it and everyone goes to it and everyone, like, of all the ones that survive, this one, right? So the results are not in your hand, and this might be the whole control freakishness and all of that stuff, right? But it's also the more natural fear that we would all have by going out publicly, right? But fundamentally, the results are not in our hand. What we need to do is we need to do the hard graft and the work to do what we're intending to do, right? So that not only do we get the reward for the intention, but we actually get the reward for the doing of it. So this is what I'm saying, that when you have the intention, then you go out and you've done the hard work of actually writing the book and doing it all and this and that. Don't ever stop yourself at that point. Don't ever stop yourself, because what you're doing is you're actually depriving the people that need your help the most because of your own insecurities and you focusing on yourself and your fear and being selfish. But imagine that I decided, you know what? I can't do this program on confidence. I can't do it. I've got this beauty spot on my nose. I don't know what side it's on. My beard is getting white. I can't do it. How can a guy who's got white hair coming out on his beard do a program on confidence? How? What if someone comes and says, seeing your beard, it made me shave my beard off and now I'm not Muslim anymore? Like, what am I going to do if someone does that? Do you understand? And what would have been the result of that? That this sister would have had years more of a relationship, of the type of relationship she had. So I'm saying there's people out there right now who they need your help in terms of their akhirah and this and getting close to Allah and all the benefits you mentioned. And you are letting your own hang-ups and your own fears and all this stuff, which by the way are not even real and justified, right, stop you and paralyze you. And I'm saying everything you're feeling is natural and everything you're feeling is fine and it's acceptable. And I'm not taking away from any of the emotion. All I'm saying is the actions that you're doing are incorrect, in my opinion, right? Which is holding back the benefit that you intended to actually give someone and then now holding it back because of the emotions you're feeling, right? And it's the same thing, like, you know, Allah forbid if there's a fire and you have to go help someone or your family or this or that, like if you're feeling tired and there's a fire there and you can put it out, would you just say, well, look, I'm feeling tired, they're just gonna have to burn because I'm feeling tired? Would you do? You'll be like, even if I'm the most tired in the world, I will struggle to put that person out of fire. Doesn't matter who it is. So it's exactly the same thing here, right? Like, feel the fear, get into the fear, understand why you're, that's what I'm saying to you, like, what are you fearing? What's the worst that could happen? Okay, this, that, and the other. Okay, make dua to Allah. Ya Allah, please make it that my book is not going to ruin someone's life, you know? And like, you know, and then go out there and do what you need to do. Because like I said, if you hold back, it hurts you, but it also hurts the people you're trying to help. And you set out to actually help them, not hurt them. But what you need to do, this is what I'm saying, like me personally, I'm really, a lot of me now is about congruence. So I'm like, look, sister, if you don't want to do this project and you don't want to do it, you don't need to do it. Like, I'm never going to say, no, you've got to do this. No, if you don't want to do it, you don't need to do it. But I'm saying if you've decided this is important and you had the intention and you went all the way to actually doing it and writing the book, then in your mind, it should be more than work. It should be, there is no choice but to put it out. There is no choice to just do it. How can I even think about not doing it? And if there's subconscious stuff going on in my mind where I'm like, not doing this because I'm worried about that, it's like, no, I'm going to break through the fear. Sorry, this is not something I can accept, that I'm going to be fearful of this, and I'm just going to do it. Like, get out of your head.
Still.
What date are we launching this book or releasing it? What I would do, seriously, sister, is that I would have the mindset that this book needs to be released on the 1st of August. Okay. And what I would advise is you do all the stuff that you need to do. And anyone who's giving you like 2 months and stuff, I wouldn't work with those people personally, right? Because really, like, is the book something like abnormal in the sense that it's going to be very different, or it's going to have like, I don't know, like embossed pages, or like, why is it going to take someone 2 months to, because like I said, my business partner, he's doing his own book right now. And, you know, obviously there's typesetting and all this kind of stuff you need to do. But why would it take a human being 2 months to do that when you, like, this is all written, this is all typed up and stuff, right? It's not handwritten.
Yes.
So you're going to put it into a computer program, like, and I'm sure there's programs for typesetting and stuff. Why would it take someone 2 months? Okay. So this is what I'm saying. Like, for me, I would just be like, okay, good. What do I need to do? How can I get this done very quickly? How can I pay minimum amount to get this done at a high quality, and just get into those things? And so one of the things you should do between now and next week, actually, I would advise, is that I want you to write down everything that is required for this book to launch. So you can write down, okay, it needs a typesetting done, it needs a hadith checked, it needs this, it needs this, it needs this. Get prices for each thing, get timelines for each thing, and just get very proactive on this stuff. Even if it's like, I'm just going to spend 1 hour on this week to get very clear. Remember what we said about clarity and speed and direction, yeah? I just want to spend an hour to get clear that if I was to do something insane, like release this on the 1st of August, what would I actually need to do? What would I actually need to set, right? Because there's something called Parkinson's law, which we discussed before, where like, if I set myself 3 days to do something, I'll probably stretch it out to do it in 3 days. If I set myself 3 hours to do the same thing, I might be able to achieve it in 3 hours or 6 hours or 7 hours, right? So like that, if you say my release date is end of September, I'm like, you know what? There are people on this earth who could actually start writing their book today and release it by end of September. I know it sounds crazy, yeah, but there are definitely people who can do that, okay? But you've done most of the work. The hardest part is actually writing it and, you know, getting someone to check in, all that. Those are the hard things. So you've done the massive part of it. Of course, marketing and all this kind of stuff is a big thing as well, but you've done the hardest part. So now we should have that mindset of, okay, how do we accelerate some of these things? So I would go and I would speak to 5 different people, and I'll be like, if they're all saying to me 2 months, then I'm like, okay, maybe this is industry standard. It just takes 2 months for this thing, right? But you might go somewhere and they might say, yeah, okay, next week I can get that to you. And then it's like, what? That person told me 2 months. This person saying next week, like, I would have wasted 2 months. 2 months of people not getting benefit from my book.